Yo, what's up, duelists? We're here, finally, the end of the 2023 RBET season. How's it going? I just got a post that I am live, and then, we can get started. We can hop right in. RBET 2023 final thing. RBET Rulers 2023 predictions, baby. Oh, it's fucking lit. Let's go. Hype. What's up, Vatos? What's up, duelists? Oh man, I'm excited. I'm excited. This is hype. What's up, Radodon? Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. We're doing some predictions. Some predictions. You appreciated the breakdown of our games. It was a good match. It was a very close match, Vatos. If you haven't watched today's video, I played a very close match with Vatos, and it was a good match. I think the last game was... that was a very close game. When you had Starlight Road there, and if you had any other back row, I would have lost. I'll say that much. I definitely would have lost that game. I think I made some mistakes, and I think you played really well. So that was a close game, very, very close game. Where were we? What were we talking about? Oh, predictions. Live with predictions right now. Come hang. It's lit. What's up, duelists? So tomorrow's RBET Rulers. For those of you guys who don't know, it's the end of the year invitational. If you topped an RBET or an RBET Rulers qualifying event, you get to play an RBET Rulers. That's pretty much it. That's the deal. That's the sauce. That's the... how can I say? It's what it is, you know? It is what it is, perhaps, but it is also what it isn't. It's an invitational tournament. All the best players in the world get together one last time before the holidays, before the end of the year, before everyone gets busy with family, gets busy with everything, and they showcase everything that's kind of been going on in Edison format during that year. Last year's RBET Rulers was one of the most banger tournaments of all time. Like, literally one of the sickest Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments ever recorded. And I expect tomorrow to be no different. I think tomorrow's going to be really, really, really good. I think a lot of the players are probably, thinking to themselves, how do I crack open this meta? What is something I can do to give me an edge on all the other best players in the world? And so I'm going to make some predictions on decks. I'm going to make some predictions on tech cards that I expect to see. I'm going to make some predictions on Dat Boy. You know what I'm saying? Will I be streaming it? Absolutely, Versa. It will be live here on this channel. It will be live all throughout the tournament. We will not be not live unless, of course, crazy things happen. You get what I'm saying? But yes, we will be live all throughout the tournament. So... obvious thing going into this tournament, right? Obvious thing is Black Wings. Black Wings is kind of like the boogeyman of the format, and not necessarily because it's inherently the best deck of the format, but just because it is the most played deck of the format, and it's the most, I want to say, aggressive deck of the format. So last year, a lot of players had their own specific answers to Black Wings, whether it was Mumix's triple Consecrated Light sideboard, or it was ProStorm playing fairies, or it was the Frog combo deck that had complex game plans for dealing with Black Wings. And as a result, in the top 8 of last year's RBET Rulers, there's only one Black Wing deck. There was only one. And it was a very aggressive triple upstart hybrid Blackwing deck. It was like really different than the ones we've been seeing. So it wasn't necessarily I guess what you'd expect. It had an edge in the mirror match. So basically everyone going into this tournament is going to be prepared for this deck. There's no way they're not. Like, this is the matchup you test when you're testing your deck. If your deck can't beat Blackwings, it's kind of a baseline. If you don't have a good game plan for this matchup, it's kind of a big baseline to meet. Now, the next deck that I think might have a decently large amount of representation is actually Hero Frogs. I think Hero Frogs might be the second most played deck. Do I think anyone will play any super experimental decks like Assault Mode? Yes. Not necessarily Assault Mode, but I do think there will be people bringing stuff that has, like, never really been shown before. Because last year, RBET Rulers, a lot of lists were kind of kept secret until the tournament. Because people wanted the chance to showcase their specific list or their specific, like, approach to the format in the peak of whatever it is, in the peak of competition, if that makes sense. So, like, basically, last year, the Lightsworn Christia list, Mimix's Lightsworn Christia list, I should probably pull these lists up for a point of reference. Let's do that. Let's go to YouTube. What about RBET Rulers? Oh shit, Ruxin is live. Shout out Ruxin, bro. RBET Rulers, top 8 deck lists. Here we go. Let's click on this bitch. So this was last year's. I'm offline. What the fuck you mean I'm offline? I'm literally online right now. I'm literally live and online. Okay. So yeah, a lot of these lists were I know the Diva Zombies, or not Diva, yeah, the Diva Hero Zombies list that Silchus Ruin played. This was like a brand new list at the time. The Mumix's, where is that list? Christia Sworn list. This was a brand new list. Dimitri's Combo Frog list. This was online. What's up, Totagon? How you doing? This was a brand new list. And then, of course, the first place list, Blackwings was a brand new list. And the second place list also, Indikid's Diva Hero Beat. This was the first time we had ever seen Diva Hero Beat do anything at a tournament ever. And Indikid took it all the way to second place because it was this brand new list. Nobody knew what it was about. Nobody knew what it was doing. And it managed to go all the way to second place. So we had at least 5 new lists in the top 8 of last year. I don't know how many new lists we're going to have in the top 8 of this year, but I know for a fact that if someone is going to innovate, this is the tournament to do it because they need that competitive edge. It's going to be more than just outplaying their opponents. They're going to have significant information, like advantages. They're going to have like significant like game plan advantages, like advanced game plans and stuff. You always gave credit to Cameron for that list. No. That was actually Indikid's creation, and it sort of spawned a whole like a whole year of people playing this, in my opinion, terrible deck. It's funny because like a lot of people have very strong opinions about these top 8 decks. Like a lot of people maybe don't think Fairies is as good as it is. A lot of people, myself included, don't think Diva Hero Beat is as good as it is. I don't think the Frog combo deck is necessarily as good as it is. The Christia Sworn deck kind of fell off the face of the earth after this tournament. There's like a whole bunch of stuff like about last year's tournament where like those decks were good for that tournament because they were new for that tournament. Are they good now? I don't know. Maybe. We don't know. But all I can tell you is that I do expect a lot of Hero Frogs. You get it? You think it's way better than Hero Beat? No, it's definitely worse than the Skill Drain Hero Beat deck. Because last year, the only list that we would see, I know ProStorm topped with the Skill Drain Hero Beat, so did Gia, so did a bunch of other players. And the Skill Drain Hero Beat was basically like the standard last year. I still think the Skill Drain Hero Beat is the better version of the deck. Like, I personally still think that that's like the stronger, more resilient, more threatening version of the deck. When I play against Hero Beat, if my opponent summons a Deep Sea Diva, I'm breathing a sigh of relief that it's not the actual good list, which has like Skill Drain and Royal Oppression. It's like some fucking like normal summon reliant, like pretty weak, like beatdown strat. It's just like worse Blackwings. That's how I feel about it. I think the Skill Drain version is just disgusting. And I also Totagon think that the not Gemini Spark, the Diva version doesn't really beat up Blackwings that well. I think it's like pretty close to a 50-50 matchup with the slight Blackwing edge. Yeah, I think Indikid was playing Royal Oppression in the sideboard, but he was only playing the 1. I still think you need at least some number of like ridiculous floodgates, or else your deck is just really soft. Like he had double Light Mirror and Royal Oppression as his floodgates plus Banishers. So those are all. That's like a good amount of floodgates. Dyna's kind of a floodgate. Jay says Vayu will win. We should talk about that. We should mention it because that's kind of like one of the other most popular decks. People think Vayu Turbo is like one of the best decks. Now Vayu Turbo only won 1 RBET this year. I think it won 2 last year. 2 or 3, but it only won 1 this year. It did win Nats, so it won 2 qualifying events. No, it won. It won Nats. Yeah, it won 2 this year, 2 qualifying events, but it only won 1 RBET this year. Overall, I think Vayu Turbo's a little bit underpowered. I know a lot of people may disagree with this, but Vayu Turbo, it's like one of these things where you have 3 really insane cards. You have Brain Control, you have Dark Armed, and you have Burial. If you draw one of those 3 cards, your deck feels better than when it doesn't draw one. When it doesn't draw one of those 3 cards, it's probably about as strong as Hero Beat. On top of that, you have 2 Royal Oppression. So you have maybe like 5 like cards that I consider to be like really strong. Return, the successful list, none of the successful lists have played Return thus far, Jay. So you can't really say Return because the lists that are doing well don't play it. I'm saying like your average list. It plays Royal Oppression, Burial, Dark Armed, and Brain Control. And these are like the big outliers of like power cards. Jay says Cap. No, it's not Cap. I literally just did a stream. Like, you can actually go back and watch the stream if you want. Here, if you go to the stream, the reviewing and ranking every RBT topping list of 2023. At Richmond was not like a. I'm gonna say it was not that big. It was only like a little under 100 players. It was like a PS5 tournament. Like that's how I see Richmond, which is like that's a decent sized tournament. But I'm talking about like tournaments like double or triple that size. That's I went back and went through, and out of all the successful lists, none of them play Return. So yeah, Vayu's is good. I think it's good. I think it's like a consistent deck. It has 4 really powerful cards if you count Royal Oppression, and those 4 really powerful cards are usually enough to carry you all the way to like a solid finish. So I think Vayu Turbo, Blackwings, and Hero Frogs are going to be really popular tomorrow. I think these 3 decks are going to be really popular. The other decks that I think are really popular are like Diva Hero, like with Malicious. I think is going to see a lot of play tomorrow. I do expect to see some Machina. I think Machina is... it's a solid deck. It reminds me of Vayu Turbo. I think Machina and Vayu Turbo are like comparable power level. Machina has a better like engine, like gear frame, and Fortress is better, but Machina doesn't have Dark Armed or Burial. So it's like you don't have the same ceiling, but your like regular game is just better overall. So it kind of just depends on like, do you want the better like regular game, or do you want the better power cards of like Burial and Dad and Brain Control and Royal Oppression? So it's kind of like what you like. They're both very similar decks in their most common construction, which involves Raikos and Kaiases. But we could also see different takes on Machina. I feel like we could see different takes on Machina. Now, I don't think Machina will be as popular as something like Vayu Turbo, but I do expect to see at least some Machina tomorrow. I do expect to see some Zombies. Zombies have had an interesting year in that, like, they'll be at some tournaments and they'll be, like, crushing. Like, they won the first RBT of the season, and then they just kind of tapered off a little bit. Like, we haven't seen them do too much since then. The deck, I think, is still solid, and I think it does well versus specifically Blackwings and Vayu Turbo. I think it struggles more with the hero decks. I think the hero decks kind of beat up on Zombies just because Absolute Zero is really difficult for them to push through. Additionally, I think the Zombies decks, they can fall to some sideboard hate. Like, there are some sideboard cards that are just really, really hateful towards zombies specifically. But I do expect to see at least some zombies tomorrow. Dragon Turbo is a deck that Dragon Turbo and like dragons in general. I'll just say dragons in general because there was a 10-0 dragon deck at RBET Orlando till he lost in top 4. There was the X1 Dragon deck that was in top 16 that lost due to a deck list error at RBET Orlando. Dragons got second at DDV, which was a qualifying event. The Dragon Turbo won both RBET Moreno Valley and RBET 3. So I think Dragons is interesting because I don't expect a lot of people to play it, but I do think it is high on my list of expectations to win. And the reason why I think Dragons is going to win is because not a lot of people are expected to play it. If you look at the roster of players this year, not many of them are like Dragon duelists, for lack of a better word. Not many of them play Dragons. But Blue Pawn, we didn't see it in a RBT, which is what I'm talking about. Yeah, Dragons is a dark horse. I think the deck is like way too underrepresented. People don't respect it enough for some reason, even though it's won 2 events. It was crushing at Orlando. Like, it lost due to like circumstance at Orlando more so than anything else. Overall, it's by far and above one of the best decks in the format, and I definitely think it's up there with one of my picks to win this event. So I think what will happen is not a lot of people will play Dragons, but the people who do will have success. That's like a pretty safe assumption to make. What's up, Brett? How are you doing tonight? You having a good night? Enjoying yourself? We're just getting some predictions in. Some last minute predictions in. I do expect some people will play Hero Beat. I just don't expect they'll do well. Similar to like the Blackwing situation is that at the regular tournaments, these have been the most common decks. And all of the best players know how to play against these decks. They know all the tricks. They know these decks in and out. Eric Shen says Dragons has the highest conversion rate of any of the top decks. It does. Yes, it actually does. For representation to tops, Dragons has tops and wins. It has the highest conversion rate. So I think Dragons is like one of the best decks in the format. But what was I talking about? Oh yeah, I think Blackwings and Hero Beat will kind of fall into this category of like everyone knows how to play against the decks. That being said, Blackwings is a little different because sometimes you can know what to do against Blackwings and still get run the fuck over. Unlike against Hero Beat, I think if you know what you're doing against this deck, the deck, it just is so much worse. Like, it's so much worse. But, you know, we could see one top. Like, we saw one top last year. It was kind of the debut of the Diva version of the list. Maybe we see a Skill Drain Light Beat version list, like the one that did well at Richmond or the one that did well in the earlier RBTs of the season where people were playing like the more stun-focused lists with Oppression and Skill Drain. We could see something like that. We could even see a Diva Hero Beat in the top. But I do think, like, right now, my biggest picks to win the tournament, based off of who's entered, again, same thing with Vayu Turbo. I think people are going to prep for Vayu Turbo. Vayu Turbo does have the same, like, free win chance that Blackwings does, but I think people are going to prep for it. Like, they're not going to come without a really solid plan for Vayu Turbo. Diva Hero is one of those decks where it's kind of like Dragons, where it can just beat you, like, if you don't, like, it doesn't matter what you're doing, it can just randomly beat you. But I think Diva Hero is, like, incredibly high rolly. Like, it's very inconsistent. How many entrants? There were 76 players qualified, and I believe about somewhere in the ballpark of 40 to 50 will be entering just because of, like, availability and a lot of other issues. Who are the players to keep an eye on? I don't know if Pro Storm is playing tomorrow yet. I still don't know who's playing. Oh, I know who's playing so far. I can pull up who we have in the bracket so far. Let me get that going real quick. Let me get the bracket for you guys. Give me a second. We'll pull up the bracket and we'll see which players there are. And I don't want to say too much about this because, like, I know what a couple people are playing, so I don't want to give away too much information before the tournament tomorrow. But I will say, like, some of the predictions I have. So speaking of, like, high rolly decks, while I'm pulling up this bracket, speaking of high rolly decks, I think another high rolly deck that like we haven't seen kind of break into the. Or was I losing? I was losing my train of thought. We haven't seen this deck kind of break into the scene outside of Nats and outside of Carpath's top. Amaryllis is kind of a high rolly deck, but when you nut draw with Amaryllis, it's the best. It's like with the best deck in the format. And it's really, really hard to break. So I think there's some potency here with like Amaryllis, Diva Hero. They have like this high roll factor. I would say even higher high roll factor than something like Black Wings. Where was I going with this? I'm going to move the Machina and the Zombie to the side for now. I'm going to put Machina next to Vayu Turbo because they're very similar in my opinion. Jay says Christia Sworn. Christia Sworn is very high rolly, but I think now that people know how Christia Sworn operates, it's very difficult to succeed with it. I think most of the success of that deck came from people not knowing what it was. You've been practicing with Amaryllis and you think it's going to be your next deck. Definitely changing some cards though. Yeah, a lot of people have been coming up with some very unique innovations on Amaryllis. So I think Amaryllis has like, it's another sleeper pick for me. I think Dragons, Hero Frogs, Amaryllis are all up there with like, let me pull up the bracket real quick. This is who's entered so far. And there's 23 players entered so far, so you guys can kind of see. We got Wames, we got Murray, we got Warlords, Roundnook, Karina, Carpath, GGBO, Evolution, Kozarski, Bire HD, Cameron Saunders, Freya, Eddie 5, Lime Dad, Mick Thunder, Dimitri Kapachi, Zico, Giorgione, Pina Pina, Feng Shui, Samu, and Apropos. So these are the people who have entered so far. You ready to cook Evolution? Oh shit. Evolution in the chat. I'm excited to see Evolution. He's a very good player. Like definitely one of the top dogs. Everyone entered in this tournament is one of the top dogs. This is just so far. There are still another 53 qualifying players who have yet to enter the event, but based off of who we're looking at so far, there's potential for some crazy shit. Like Carpath has topped with more different decks than I think any other player. He's also invented a lot of the decks that we see nowadays, such as Amaryllis, and a lot of ancient gear strategies have been, even the Machina Lightsworn deck, while it wasn't necessarily Carpath's deck, it was more ×2's deck. A lot of the same innovations came from Carpath's deck for that as well. So like Carpath is like one of the best deck innovators. He also innovated Chaos Fairies and won Deck Devastators, and that's how he got his invite. Roundnook is like one of the biggest innovators. He recently topped with a Black Garden Shiva Warrior deck, which is just crazy to even think about, like conceptually. This is something that like you don't see people doing. Like there's going to be a lot of unique stuff happening tomorrow. And so for me to place predictions on like what's going to happen, it's going to be pretty difficult without giving away some stuff that I know behind the scenes. But based off of like meta shit that we already know, I am going to say that I think Dragons is a dark horse to win the whole event. I think Hero Frogs has the potential to win the whole event. I think Amaryllis, like if it's just running hot, could go crazy. Amaryllis has, like if you look at these matchups, Amaryllis body bags Vayu. It's pretty good versus Machina. It's insane versus Alias deck. It's good enough versus Diva Hero. I think that matchup is incredibly volatile, but I do think that Amaryllis is good enough versus Diva Hero, and then Amaryllis destroys zombies. So it's like it's kind of got a good matchup spread. It's not very good into Black Wings, but if you kind of metagame with Amaryllis and expect that not a lot of people are going to bring Black Wings because of how people at this top level of tournament prepare for it, then like it's possible we don't see it. Elsad says instant zombies. I don't think instant zombies is good. I'm going to be real. I don't know if it's like that much better than the regular list we've been seeing. Emmanuel says you recently want to play the Edison format, but what? I don't understand your comment. How long does this format have to live before entering another Time Wizard format? This format is infinitely deep. That's a good question, but I think the thing about Edison format is like if a deck ever starts to take over, the whole meta will adapt to it because there's so many decks that are like quote unquote viable at any given moment, and then there are so many decks on the fringe of viable that need the right like meta circumstances. And there isn't one deck like in GOAT format. There's like chaos, and then there's like everything else. You know what I mean? It's not really like that in Edison format. Like even the most played deck is like Blackwing's at 10%. You know what I mean? It's like 1 out of 10 decks is the most played decks. I think the issue is that Edison is way too deep and it's like self-correcting in a way. Like if something starts to become really good, then something else will become really good, and then it's a much deeper cycle in Edison because decks there's just so many decks, I guess. And I don't think people like it's been however many years. The melee of Yu-Gi-Oh. I think I know people like say that, and in terms of like watchability, yes, Edison is the most watchable format. But in terms of actual gameplay, I think melee is more like GOAT. And PM, Project Melee, or whatever P plus is more like Edison because every character is viable. Emmanuel says the only thing you've seen are variants of the same decks. Oh, well, honestly, I'm going to be real with you. It's probably because you aren't looking hard enough. Go look at all the top 8 videos. Go look at all the, like you literally can't even look at a top 16 without looking at like maybe 15 different decks. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of just like, Edison is just really, there's a lot of decks you can play. It's infinitely deep. You know what I mean? And you can mix and match the decks. Like you could play like Machina with like Diva stuff. You know what I mean? Someone was doing that the other day. You could play like zombies with plants. You know what I mean? You could do all sorts of stuff. There's like quick draw. There's FTK strategies with Subsitode. There's something for everything. Like there's something for everyone. So another thing is to like, even though you may think like this way, Edison's been around for 13 years and people still really haven't figured it out. And most of the best players have different opinions on what the best deck is. And like, for example, like Yugioh just topped, it got second place. It got second place in at Richmond. You know what I mean? Like, have you seen Yugioh play? It just got second place at a big tournament. Like, no, you probably haven't seen that. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. Is like, if you think that there's only so many decks in Edison format, you definitely aren't looking hard enough, in my opinion. The fact of the matter is, like, even I'm talking about all the decks that could top. I've listed maybe like 10 decks, and these aren't even all of the decks that I think could top this tournament. There's like at least another 10 decks. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Yeah, Quick Draw is kind of a dark horse too. I think people are sleeping on how resilient Quick Draw is into an unknown meta. Quick Draw is really good against Vayu Turbo. It's really good against Hero Beat. And if there's a lot of Vayu Turbo and Hero Beat, Quick Draw has a free bracket. It's just fucking free as shit. The Hero Beat matchup is laughably easy. And the Vayu Turbo matchup, as long as they don't oppression you on like a key moment, the matchup is very free. Drill Dandy beats the fuck out of Vayu. Titanial beats the fuck out of Vayu. So yeah, it's an interesting matchup. And then I think Fairies is good. Like, I think Fairies could always just steal it. I think Fairies had an easier time last year because everyone was like, oh, it's a Blackwing tournament, free. And then Fairy came in and he just beat every Blackwing player. Like, ProStorm just came in with Fairies and, like, beat every Blackwing player. And it was not close. You know what I mean? He just destroyed all that shit. You know what I mean? So I think Fairies could have an easier time than some of these other decks, but I think Fairies has like weird matchups against like against Diva Hero. I think Fairies doesn't do the best in Diva Hero, and Fairies also doesn't do the best into Hero Frog. So I think like I'm like not saying that Fairies is unfavored against Diva Hero. I think Fairies is favored against Diva Hero, but I think it's a very close matchup and it's very high rolly. I think Fairies is genuinely unfavored against Hero Frog. I think that matchup is really hard for Fairies. It's probably the hardest matchup out of the most played decks for Fairies. And this year in general, like Hero Frog has been kind of a sleeper pick. You know what I mean? It's been kind of a sleeper one. Dare Untergang says Brother D versus Chums or Oscar Ruano versus a True Hero. Has Oscar signed up? Has a True Hero? I think a True Hero isn't making it due to availability. But I'm not sure if Oscar. I think Brother D has signed up. I think tell them to sign up. Basically, they only have till tomorrow morning to sign up, so make sure they're signed up. I think Hero Frogs is just, if there's a lot of Hero Frogs tomorrow, then Fairies might not be the pick. But if there's no Hero Frogs tomorrow, then Fairies is a good pick. That's kind of like my if-then statement on that. I think Quick Draw is kind of a sleeper because it just like does okay versus everything. At least very okay. Brother D didn't sign up. Oh, he's not signed up yet. Their signups are still open for people who have invites. So if he's around, he should sign up. Someone tell him to sign up already. Everybody's really last minute about the signups. Good morning, Blind Ruby. Yeah, so I think honestly, if I had to pick one, I would pick I think Dragons is gonna win tomorrow. That's what I would say. I would just say I think Dragons is gonna win tomorrow. Just because I don't think enough people respect it. Even amongst the top players, like, they don't respect it enough. I think if you get like one of the like top dogs playing Dragons, it's gonna be really, really tough. It's gonna be really, really tough for people to like keep up with that type of thing, I guess. I don't know how to say it, but like when you see a good player playing like DD Warrior Lady Dragons or like the newer Raikou Dragon decks, when you see someone who like knows what they're doing play those decks look unbeatable. They look legitimately like the least beatable decks in existence. But who knows? Who knows? I think that it could be any one of these decks down here. What do you guys think? You guys who are here with me. What do you think's winning tomorrow? Give me your predictions. What do you think is winning? I need to steal your stuff for content. Steal your ideas for content. Because I think it could be any one of these. There were a couple other decks I was thinking of too that it could be. Like Carpass, like Chaos Fairy deck. That deck is really interesting. But if Dragons is kind of the dark horse, then Chaos Fairies is going to struggle. Brett Perez says, you think Diva Hero or Dragons is going to win? Dragons being the trap version due to Turbo being inconsistent. You hope Diva Hero Beat doesn't win. It probably won't, realistically. You can see Ghost Rider topping or winning if he chooses Dragons. I could as well. I think I could see Ghost Rider taking the whole thing just because of his proficiency with the deck. Eric Shen says as long as Blackwing doesn't win. I don't mind if Blackwing wins. Like, that just is something that could totally happen. What's my opinion on making top 8 being a best of 5 with no side deck use until game 3? I think that that's not the game that people signed up to play. People sign up to play best of 3 with the side deck. Like, that's just the game that people signed up to play. People hate Blackwings. I like Blackwings. I think Blackwings is a really unique and skill-intensive aggro deck. You'd say Plant Zombie, but no representation. Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to play Plant Zombie. But if they did, it would be a good pick. Like, straight up. It'd be, like, somewhere in this range of, like, Amaryllis type deck with, like, Mark of the Rose. Here, I'll put Mark of the Rose. I think Mark of the Rose decks are, like, sleeper picks, too. Like, they have a lot of potential. Like, either the Twilight Rose or, like, the Zombie Plant list that you play, Brett. Which Machina list am I expecting to show up? What time rules are you using? So, tomorrow's actually double elimination with a 15-minute turn timer. So basically what happens is if you have a 15-minute turn or longer, you get a game loss, but there's actually no round time. So every match will be played to a winner. There's no like 45, 40 minute, whatever. It's double elimination. So like you will play your match until there's a winner. And slow play will be strictly enforced. So like I think it's like one warning for slow play and then a game loss. So slow play strictly enforced, no round timer, 15-minute turn timer are the time rules we are using. Double elimination for tomorrow. That means that every like when we have a winner of this tournament, it will be a definitive winner. It won't be someone who like stalled into time or whatever. You definitely need to qualify for next season. You do. I think you could too, like pretty easily, low key. Okay, you said you don't know who's winning the tournament, but who's gonna win bingo side event? That's the real question. Who's gonna win the RBET Rulers bingo? What about Jin's over? I don't know if we'll see someone ballsy enough to bring Jinzo. I don't know if we will see someone who's ballsy enough. You want to see Christiasworn sack its way through the bracket? We almost saw that last year. Oop, that's not it, but you guys can watch it. What time does it start? It starts at 10 a.m. Pacific tomorrow morning. So in about 11 hours. Flamville was 0 rekindling. Then why play? That's like, at that point, you're just playing like a worse, like... You're just playing like a worse fucking Hydrogeddon. Like, not Hydrogeddon. What's that 4-star tuner that is Mist Valley Soldier? You're just playing 3 worse Mist Valley Soldiers at that point. Ryan Knight says you'll get your invite next year. I heard it here first. I believe it. Totagon says Sabres will win. I'll put it here for the screenshot. Take your screenshot, Totagon. All right, get this shit out of here. I told Totagon on Twitter today that if Sabres win, I will eat an entire paper Blackwing deck on camera. I will eat an entire paper Blackwing deck on camera. If it wins. GBs will make top 8. Ninja Deer, that's a terrible prediction. Gladiator Beasts into a metagame of Blackwings and Hero Beat? Like, what? Gladiator Beast has not topped a single RBET ever. I don't think this one with all the best players in the game is going to be the first one it tops. That just doesn't make any sense. Lewis Hall says James Ark will win with Fish OTK. I think it would be really ballsy for James to bring Fish OTK to this. Yeah, it would definitely be really ballsy for him to bring it. He's a talented player. Fish OTK has a slew of issues, consistency issues. It's about as powerful as X-Sabers, in my opinion. When you're comboing, it looks good, but when you're not comboing, the deck doesn't do anything. So you would have to be really ballsy to bring it because you're kind of just high rolling on hitting your coelacanths when you need to. I think it's a good pick though. Like, if you're gonna try to high roll to win a tournament, you might as well high roll with the deck that maybe some people don't have experience against. Like, everybody and their mom is gonna know how to play versus Vayu, Blackwings, and Hero Beat. You know what I mean? Oh fuck, you're right. Norlaris. I forgot. Norlaris actually does have the potential to win the whole tournament too. I think Norlaris is like sleeper as fuck pick. Like, this is actually like low key. Like, these are like all the sleeper picks that just like would be insane. These 3 would be like, I feel like you could have a god bracket if you picked Norlaris for tomorrow and you played it well. Or if you picked like Amaryllis or Dragons, you could have a god bracket where you just win every match, no question. You could go EXO with one of these 3 decks, and it would like not be unheard of. I think it'd be much harder to have a god bracket with one of these other decks. Totagon says you don't know why people hate on Blackwings when decks like Norlaris run around. I think Norlaris is like inherently kind of fun, because even though it is a hand loop, it's a 2-sided hand loop. So it's just like a, lol, we both have nothing. You know what I mean? Like, Connor says you would love to see a skilled Gemini pilot make a run. I don't think anyone who like solo plays Gemini or has a lot of experience with that deck is bringing it tomorrow. Or is qualified, is what I should have said. I don't think anyone who like, yeah, who plays Gemini has qualified really. Which maybe next year. Maybe next year. I think that deck still needs a bit more time to cook, but it's a good deck. Can't sleep on it. It has a lot of potential to set up some crazy stuff. Yeah, but the 3 decks I expect to see could have a crazy run. Norlaris, Amaryllis, Dragons could be crazy. A Mark of the Rose deck could go crazy, like a Plant Zombie deck. Quick Draw could go crazy, or I don't know. 45 Norlaris for sale right now. You might want to freeze sales on that till tomorrow. Because if they win, if this deck wins, okay, how much is Norlaris right now? I gotta double check this. How much is Norlaris? Does anyone in the chat know how much it is? I'm looking it up right now. Okay, Sky Scores Norlaris. How much is this card? First edition, ultimate rare. Okay. First edition, ultimate rare. First edition, ultimate rare Norlaris is going for about $70 US. It's selling for about 70 for a light plate. If Norlaris wins tomorrow, yes, Norlaris. If Norlaris wins tomorrow, how much do you think it goes up? 20%, 30%? How much do you think this card goes up tomorrow if it wins? I'm curious. Totagon says, what did we do to the Edison card market? I destroyed it. I'm sorry. I also announced RBETs next year, so it's not going anywhere. Supers become $30. Supers double, you think? You think Supers double? Connor says Norlaris doubles in price. 45 today, 90 tomorrow for a set if it wins. Jesus Christ. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's a gamble. If you want to get them while they're still cheap. I heard someone has 45 listings. I heard someone is getting rid of a couple of them. Yeah, that is a gamble. Same thing with Amaryllis. Like, if Amaryllis wins tomorrow, that card becomes unattainable. It's already unattainable. But, like, hold up. Right now, first edition Amaryllis is going for about $45. Roughly. For a light plate. For a light plate. If Amaryllis wins tomorrow, how much does it go for? How much does Amaryllis go for if it wins tomorrow? Does it still have more to go up? Is it going to be more than $45? What do you guys think? You think it hits $1 billion? That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. That would actually be crazy. Good thing you have your paper playset of Norlaris and Amaryllis. I have my playset of Norlaris, but I recently got rid of a playset of Amaryllis as a prize. 110? Oh my gosh, that'd be crazy. Sanchan does have an invite, and Sanchan did get his invite with Machina. So, that is something of note. True mega lol. What other deck could we see kind of pop off? I feel like there's so much in Edison format that could like just randomly do well. Like, I'm for sure forgetting decks here. Norlaris seems to be feast or famine. Yeah, but sometimes that's what you need to win a tournament. Sometimes you need that feast, you know? Sometimes you just need to get 6 feasts in a win. Jay says, if Vayu wins, will you admit it's a tier 0 deck? No, absolutely not. Because in my opinion, there is no tier 0 deck in Edison, or Fairies is the tier 0 deck. But I think because of everybody's like disagreements on it, and just because of the nature of everyone thinking like kind of differently, it's pretty safe to say that there's just no tier 0 deck. Oh, Welly Dad. Put emergency teleport. We could see a teleport deck do well. That could be interesting. Can deck and deck list be changed up to the start? Yes, Evolution. It can be. So if you've already registered, which you have, you can change your deck list. If this stream is changing your mind. Now, don't listen to me. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but... Hero-less, Turbo-less Frogs is a real deck, Copium. Okay, what are we putting for that? Light and Darkness? Dude, this card is heat. I saw your deck. I haven't looked at your deck. I haven't looked at anybody's submitted deck. I'm actually going into this tournament blind. I'm not looking at anybody's submissions until I get into this tournament, because I am not just a commentator tomorrow, but I am just as much a viewer as everyone else. I want to see what everyone is cooking in real. I want to be surprised, you know? I want it to be like a genuine like experience for myself as well. You wish Lad was good. It's a tragedy that it's not. I think it is good. Okay, question. Question. How much copium is Flamvel or Stun? How much copium are these two decks? Are they like mega copium? But no, I'm trying to get this lad out of here. Is Flamvel and Stun like copium decks? Infinite copium? How copium is Flamvel? The reason I'm saying this is because I have a... Where's that shit? I have that fucking thing from the Karlsruhe tournament breakdown. Where's that shit? I guess I didn't save it. Fuck. It's from yesterday's stream. Or not yesterday's, but a few days ago stream. Chain Strike. I gotta add Chain Burn. Chain Burn? Chain Burn is not copium. I played Chain Burn the other day. Oh my gosh. That deck is good. I hate to say it, but that deck is good. It's like genuinely good. Flamvel, you'd cope. You don't know about Stun. So there was a Karlsruhe, the 200-person Karlsruhe tournament, where Flamvel got top 4, and there was 2 Stun decks in top 16. I don't know if people like play Stun like that though. I don't know if there's any like dedicated Stun players like there used to be back in the day. I feel like nowadays like Stun has sort of devolved into fairies. Like if you're playing Stun, you just opt to play fairies instead because it's like fairies is kind of like a Stun deck in a way. Dark Gaia. All right, is Dark Gaia winning tomorrow? Is Dark Gaia also copium? It got people their invites. Multiple people topped with, I think just one person topped with Dark Gaia this year, and got his invite thanks to Dark Gaia. So it might be copium. It might be legit. I don't know. Okay, let me get these fucking... Let's get this Flamvel Doom Caliber shit out of here. Let's get the real picks. Doom Caliber, Flamvel, Fire Dog. Relinquished, Kappa. Alejandro says frogs eat fairies. Caius and Ryza eat up all the Shining Angels and Nova Summers. It's not even funny. Maybe game 1. Depends on the sideboard strat. I think if you said you could never sideboard, it would be hard for fairies. But because you can sideboard and frogs get so bad post-board, and the popular version of frogs right now only plays like 4 monarchs, I don't think it's that good. I don't think the matchup is as good as you think it is. I've played it a bunch. Game 1, it's definitely tough. But game 2 and 3, fairies destroys frogs. Because you just have like all good cards and Christia, which ends the game if it ever hits play. Like, yes, the matchup's bad, but there's an auto-win button. So how do you feel about that? Like, if this card gets summoned, I mean, it's pretty much over. Okay, Chain Burn is a sleeper pick. That's a good sleeper pick. I think Chain Burn has like a lot of potential to win a tournament like this. Because who the fuck is preparing for Chain Burn? You know what I mean? Like, no one. No one's preparing for Chain Burn. You know what I mean? Lewis Hall says, after playing Fish OTK, you think the deck is not bad? I think the deck is the definition of bad. But it can do some broken shit if you are comboing. But you have to get to that point, and it's a 5-card combo, so... Slightly better Exodia. Relinquished Frog is kind of pog, remains the best E3 video name. I appreciate that, Julian. That was a good video name. Dark Gaia based. We could see some Dark Gaia shenanigans. I'm not really sure. If we do see Dark Gaia, how do people counter this? How does this card get countered? What is the counterplay? Imperial Iron Wall? Or like what? Compulsory Evac? Chain Burn proceeds to queue into the Dragon matchup with Prime Material. That is hilarious. That is definitely hilarious. That being said, Chain Burn does have Gesture Comfy, and it does have like some outs too. Prime Material. Ninja Deer says Pulling the Rug will be the most played side deck card. We'll get into like card predictions after this, but I just want to like cover as many decks as possible for like decks that could sleep or win. Did I put Coelacanth in here? If James wins with fish, I will not be surprised. If anyone else does anything with fish, I will be surprised. That's like the difference. Is like, I think if James does something with fish, he's low-key the fish god. Like, James goes from being like a good player to a great player if Coelacanth is in his deck for some fucking reason. But yeah, I think if James wins with fish, I would not be surprised. But if anyone else wins with fish, I would be stunned. I would be stunned. Do we have the RBET bingo board? We do, courtesy of Ryanite. I'm going to pull that bad boy up for you guys. Early chatters can have their own RBET Rulers bingo card. Before tomorrow, I will post the link here in just a moment. Huh. Hold up. Hold up, everyone. Give me 1 second. Just had to answer a message real quick. Can I get that link for you? Ryanide. Where are you, Ryanide? Here you are, Ryanide. Very nice. Nick Base says played current for a bit, but Edison is just way superior. I do agree. I do declare. What about Cat? Lol. We can put Cat down there in the copium tier. Sure. RBT Rulers bingo. We've got Duplock survives 2+ opponent's turns. We got Red Dragon Archfiend on the field. We've seen card never seen in RBET before. So an RBET debut. Pro Heavy resolves. Tragodia Steel Effect resolves. Slow play warning. Elemental Hero Gaia on the field. Teammate versus teammate. 5+ summons in 1 turn. No substitute. All 5 monster zones occupied. Return for lethal. Past RBET winner loses a match. 300 likes on the stream. Speaking of which, like this stream right now. Player insta leaves after game. No GG. Stratos Effect to pop back row. Altar garbage. Tribute summon set gores. Keegan accidental zoom. That's pretty much a free space. Dragon Machine or Fairy deck wins a match. That's a free space as well. Armory Arm burn for lethal. That could be really interesting to see. Ruling Dispute. Interesting to see. Simo Nimnim or MBT types in chat. Vayu Mirror Match. Mistworm on the field. Or the Frog Mirror Match. God, someone needs to demod Totogon with the phrases he be saying. You would love to see Cat representation. Cat has topped a total of 1 RBET ever. So that's a little bit of a copium. Copium for sure. I think expecting anything to do well. All right, right now, everyone in chat type what you think is going to win. I need to know your predictions. There's 48 of you here. 43, 45, whatever the fuck. There's 50 of you here. What is... Herbellum is low-key a brick. It's low-key, high-key a brick. What do you guys think is going to win? A lot of people have different takes on this format. Evolution says fish. Diva Hero. Interesting. Dragons. Okay. Could be kind of a dragon. Frog. Yeah, Frog could win. Frog could definitely win. Dragon Turbo. Blackwing Vayu Hybrid. Possible, but I feel like everyone's going to have a game for it. Faith in Fairies. You think Fairies gets the back-to-back Rulers win? I think Fairies only gets the back-to-back Rulers win if Carpath plays it. I don't think there's a lot of other players entering who are like Fairy players. There might not even be a single person entering with Fairies this year, which is insane given that it won last year. Like, The fact that people choose not to play one of probably the best decks in the format is beyond me, but Ojama, confirmed. Pro Storm. Is Pro Storm entering? Let me check and see if he messaged me about it. I have so many fucking messages. I have not checked. Let me see if he messaged me about it. Let's see. I don't know if Pro Storm's entering. I think he might be busy. He might be, though. Let me see. He said, I've been pretty removed from Yu-Gi-Oh! After I wasn't going to Orlando. He might not be entering. He might have ascended with his win. Julian says, you think you've seen in my tournament play that Fairies is pretty exhausting? Maybe that's a reason. It can be a reason. Some people just want to like high roll shit, which is fine. It's definitely a reason why most people don't play the deck. It's just really grindy. Like, you have to grind out like really long games, and you have to be really patient. He goes out with a bang. I don't know if he's playing tomorrow. He might be, but I haven't heard from him in a while. I hope he is. That would be really cool. He would be my pick to win the event if he was entering. As of right now, my pick to win the event is like, every time I predict someone wins the event, they go like 0-2. So I feel bad like predicting, because I feel like it's a lot of pressure to put on someone. I think I'm just going to predict the deck that's going to win. I think Dragons is going to win the event. That's it. I'm not going to say who's going to win with, but I think Dragons is going to win the event. That's my hard prediction. I'm locking it in. I am saying people are disrespecting Dragons. They're going to have no sideboard for it. And it's going to come in. It's going to crush the whole event. Alejandro says Dragon Turbo is taking it. High key feels like a modern deck. Kinda. Nick Bay says Stardust Assault Mode by Frog Slicer is really fun and good. Well, it's fun, but I don't know if it's good because that whole deck concedes to DD Crow. I think Dragons is winning the whole event. I think my next sleeper pick is probably Amaryllis or Norlaris or Fish. I think these three are like, they have potential. I would predict Fairies is going to win the whole thing, but I just legitimately don't think anyone is going to play it. Style Clone says Vayu or Blackwing should win this. Vayu and Blackwing didn't even top the last one. Well, I guess technically Blackwing did, but it was a really different Blackwing list. It wasn't like a stereotypical list. Yeah, so I think people are going to over-prepare for these three. Julian says, how annoying has the Formula 1 stuff been since you live there? It has been the single most fucking annoying thing since living here, like my entire life. You can't go anywhere without insane traffic. There's been construction on literally every street, so every street is like down to one lane. Drives that would normally take me like 10 minutes take me like hours. It is so fucking miserable. There's a Formula 1 race on the Las Vegas Strip, and it is like just a logistic nightmare. And the worst part about it is they signed a 10-year contract, so it's gonna happen for the next decade, which is insane. Everyone I know who lives here hates it. Everyone I know who lives here is like, this was a terrible idea. Nobody I know is excited to go to it. So many of my friends are like, we're just gonna be sneaking in, like we're not even paying for it because it's like so fucking stupid. Why are they putting it on the Strip, the most publicly accessible location possible? Like, how are you going to keep people off the Strip? It's just impossible. Like, you can't do that. It is so unbelievably dumb. Shutting down the Strip for an entire weekend is so stupid. Thankfully, I will not be out during this weekend. I will be in watching RBET Rulers coverage here in the safety of my home. But it has been one of the most annoying things. I've had to go to the Strip a couple of times. It has been so miserable, even backed up all the way to TwitchCon. Like, that's how long back it has been fucking annoying. It's been, like, fucking people over for months. 30-minute commutes have turned into 2-hour commutes. The freeways have been frozen. It's been really hard to go downtown and, like, go out. They had to cancel yesterday's practice due to a pothole they forgot to fill in, so everyone had to wait hours just to have it get canceled. Yeah, it is a nightmare. I know a lot of people from out of town are like, they think it's hype and they're coming into it, but if you live here, it is like the worst thing. It is so fucking stupid. The city of Las Vegas has made some of the dumbest decisions in the last few years that like I can't even begin to describe, starting with the fucking sphere. Starting with this dumb shit. Like, you guys know about this, right? You guys know about the sphere? Do you guys know about the sphere? This giant fucking orb? Yeah. You guys know about this? Well, turns out it's already lost like $1 billion since opening. Like, it's actually lost so much money since opening. It cost $2 billion to make. The CFO recently resigned after like $100 million loss. It is one of the dumbest things. I mean, it's like cool. It's cool, right? It opened this year. Yeah. I don't know if no, this is not the crypto arena, no. But it's just the sphere. It's just a fucking sphere. Like, they're selling tickets to it at like record low prices. It looks cool. Yeah, it does look cool. But that's it. You know what I mean? It just looks cool. There's nothing about it that brings people there. Like, the only reason you'd go there is for like concerts, but they're like not booking enough concerts there of people, of bands that people actually want to see. The only band that's played there that's like even remarkably known was U2. And who the fuck wants to listen to U2? The only thing people know about U2 is how it was forcibly put onto your iPods when we were kids. Like, nobody fucks with this band. This band is like so irrelevant, it's not even funny. Like, that's like, come on, like, fucking, is that the next RBET Rulers venue, Kappa? Maybe we do it in the sphere, but I don't think we could get 18,000 people. I can't even get 12,000 people to watch a YouTube video, so maybe. It's just been like dumb decision after dumb decision for the city. It's so stupid. Oh man. I will tell you guys something though. I did go see yesterday I did go see a movie. I saw this movie. And it was really good. I thought it was really good. I went and saw this yesterday. I'd never seen a Hunger Games movie. I watched this movie. I thought it was awesome. I think it's very underrated. Very underrated movie. And I'm a big movie guy. Like, I like watching a lot of like movies, I guess. Like, good movies. Like, I don't watch like shitty movies normally. Like, I've never seen a Hunger Games movie before. But I went and saw this and I was like, the acting is strong. The script is strong. The characters are strong. I didn't need to know anything about the Hunger Games to enjoy it. The action was good. The pacing was good. The editing was good. The costumes were awesome. The cinematography was good. Just everything about the movie was just really solid. I had a great time. I think that this is like, I cannot recommend this movie enough. Like, I thought it was like one of the best movies of this year. I think the other movie I saw that I really liked this year was called Talk to Me. This movie was a banger. This movie was amazing. This was probably the best movie of the year. But the new Hunger Games movie was great. I think it was like the second best movie I've seen all year to come out. It was just solid 2.5 hours of entertainment. It was really good. Yeah, it didn't even feel like 2.5 hours. It was so good. That was a cool movie. I had a great time. That's my plug, my positivity plug for the day. If you haven't already seen it, I mean, the movie was really tight. I thought it was good. Do you guys watch movies a lot? What's your favorite movie in chat? All right, let's get into the tech predictions. Tech. There we go. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse was the best movie of the year. Oppenheimer is movie of the year for you. I thought Oppenheimer was really bad. I thought Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse was solid, but I don't think it was as good as the Hunger Games movie for a couple of reasons. Mostly because as much as I appreciate the animation, I think it distracted more. The movie was more about the animation than about the actual movie itself. I think the writing for the Spider-Verse movie was weak. I felt like the story didn't really keep me entertained. There were moments when there was like just a bunch of Spider-Mans where it felt like kind of self-engorged and like kind of like way too meta for me. It felt like I was watching like the Scream version of, not, is it Scream or is it, what's the guy Scream movie? Yeah, I felt like I was watching the Scream of horror, of superhero movies, if that makes sense. It was like very meta and like tongue in cheek and like in a way where I like just wasn't super engaged in the story. The newer characters didn't really captivate me. I had no real reason to care about them because, Yugi Boomer says if you could play, say please. No, you gotta qual. You gotta qual. I've had a lot of people say please though, at least 10. A lot of people hit me up. They're like, please let me play, and I'm like, what? You forgot to watch the FNAF movie? You're a zoomer. All right, tech prediction. Someone mentioned pulling the rug. I don't know about pulling the rug. Digimon 2 movie of the year. I haven't watched it yet. Pulling the rug. Maybe. It's not really good versus Blackwings or Vayu, which are kind of the decks to beat. It's not really good versus Dragons. It's not really good versus... I don't even think it's that good versus Heroes. Except Diva. It's good versus Diva Hero. But if they don't have Diva, it only hits Stratos. Logan Minto says Soul Taker. It is very good versus Frogs. Pulling the Rug is very good versus Frogs. And because of that, I think it will see a lot of play. I don't know if people will go as far to main it, though. Fossil Dyna. This guy has seen so much play in RBETs. This guy, I don't think we've seen the end of Fossil Dyna. I think Fossil Dyna will be a big part of tomorrow. A big part of tomorrow will be Fossil Dyna and how well your deck deals with Fossil Dyna. You know, like how well can your deck attack over Fossil Dyna, basically. Prohibition. Prohibition was in the first and second place from Orlando. And it was also in, Moreno Valley, not Orlando. Isn't from in the first and second place list from Moreno Valley, which is interesting. But after that, it didn't really have too much going on. But we could see it. I wouldn't be surprised to see like a boost in Prohibition numbers tomorrow. Nick Bay says Compulse is the best tech card of the format. I agree. I think we're going to see a lot of Compulsory. I think this card is very good. I think it is very, very good. Definitely a card we will see tomorrow. In main decks, in multiple copies, we will see it. Particularly with monsters that gain you effects, like Gear Frame or Breaker. It's very good with Breaker. Breaker, Gear Frame, Stratos, any of those types of monsters. Compulsory doubles really well there. Gear Frame OP, yes, I agree. What's another tech card we expect to see? I think Lightning Vortex was one of the most interesting tech cards that we saw get top 4 at RBET Orlando in the main. Although I don't know if we'll see it. I don't know if we'll see it tomorrow in the main. Maybe. If there's a lot of Dragon Turbo, people might main it. I think Lightning Vortex is a sleeper pick. Lightning Vortex Prohibition are maybes. For me, they're maybes. Prohibition, yeah, that's on there. Yeah. Legendary Jujutsu Master, probably not. I think if anything, we'll see Snowman Eater. Or we'll see Gravekeeper Spy. Oh my god, I fucking forgot, dude. We have to go back. We have to go back, chat. We have to go back. We have to go back. I think Gravekeepers is a sleeper pick to win the whole tournament. I think Gravekeepers is super well positioned to win the whole tournament. I think it does well against every fucking deck. This deck is just good. Like, we need to start respecting it. It's just good. It has all these good matchups. It dominates the meta right now. All of the like quote unquote decks that are like bad matchups for it, or all the tech that could be bad for it. I think Gravekeepers, I gotta say it. All right, moving back to the tech predictions. It can play Virus. Yep, it can play Virus. It can play just everything. It can play all the Floodgates. It can play Royal Tribute. It can play fucking... Dude, it can play anything. It can play Caius if it wants to. It can play whatever it wants to. Eric Shine says, doesn't Frogs just eat GK? So right now, the most popular Frog deck, they've cut their Monarchs for this card right here, Miracle Fusion. And guess what this card can't be played through? Necro Valley. So when you're cutting your Monarchs for this guy right here, just saying. Cody Moreland says, Talk to Me was beyond surprisingly good. Talk to Me was like one of the best movies I've ever seen. Good. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Like, if you haven't watched Talk to Me, you need to watch. This is like a must-see movie, in my opinion. Sorry to derail the conversation, but like, I went to go see it. I literally went to go see it closing week, and the theater was still full. Like, it's still sold out. Closing week. That's how good the movie was. It was like, if you hadn't seen this movie, everyone was saying, you have to see this movie. Nick Bass says, hit us up with a GK list. I'll make you one real quick. After we're done talking about text, though. After we're done talking about text. But yeah, I think GK's Spy. I think Spy could be good. Totagon says, all you watch is anime, you're too degenerate. Go watch Talk to Me, bro. You would fucking love it. This is such a Totagon movie. It's so made for Totagon. Has anyone seen the latest Rick and Morty episode? To be fair, it takes a very high IQ. To be fair, you have to have a very high IQ to understand Rick and Morty. Oh shit, we don't want mature content. Hold on. This is a question science has yet to answer. While one study insultingly suggests that people of all IQs can grasp even the basic premise of an animated cartoon as complex as Rick and Morty, many subsequent studies have revealed an IQ minimum of 180. To be fair. Dude, people are Googling this shit. How intelligent is Rick? Is Summer as smart as Rick? Is Rick smarter than Morty? Is Rick Sanchez a 12th level intellect? The humor is extremely subtle and without a solid grasp of theoretical physics. I don't have a high enough IQ to watch Rick and Morty. I just don't. I don't have a... We should do that copy pasta for Edison format. To be fair, you have to have a very high IQ to play Christia. The misplays are extremely subtle, or whatever the fuck. There could be something there. Yeah, the gameplay is extremely subtle, yeah. I think Gravekeeper Spy is a good tech. I just think it just like does well in big tournaments. Super Saiyan 20 Goku. Oh, dude. Yes. Yes, dude. Minus half points. Minus half points. Dude, yes. This is the tech card. Dude, he resists metal. You know why he resists metal? You know why it's a fake card? Because if it was real, it'd be too good. If it was real, it'd be too good. That's why it's a fake card, of course. The bottom one, yes. Dude, Super Saiyan 20. Yes. Yes. Of course. All right. Back to the tech cards. Attack on Titan finally ended. Okay. Rejoice. No more cliffhangers. Unless... All right, we out here. What are we winning? What are we teching? What are we teching tomorrow? What are we teching for tomorrow? Electric Virus going to show up somewhere? No one's respecting dragons. It's not happening tomorrow. Someone said my body is a shield. I'll slap that in. Yugi Boomer, you're kind of spitting. My body is a shield is gonna see play tomorrow. So is Point in the Rug. But we are gonna see my body as a shield tomorrow. I think this card is legit. Magic Cylinder in the Blackwing Mirror. I think more realistically, it's gonna be Dark Illusion. I think more realistically, we will see this card tomorrow. This card's fucking disgusting. Grand Mole. I agree. I agree we will be seeing some Grand Mole gaming. What else? What else are we seeing tomorrow? Super Poly. Maybe. I'll put that in a maybe. Mind Crush? Sure. Maybe. I'll put that in the Prohibition tier. Prohibition, Mind Crush, they kind of go hand in hand. Breaker? Maybe. I don't think people are smart enough to side Breaker, even though it literally won the last RBET Rulers. I don't think people have the IQ necessary. To be fair, it takes a very high IQ to comprehend sideboarding Breaker the Magical Warrior. The Goblin that upstarts. Goblin. Maybe. I mean, if Dragon Turbo wins, then obviously. But if Dragon Turbo doesn't win, then maybe. I don't know. Maybe? It seemed to do pretty well last year. I think it was in the Blackwing list that topped. The only Blackwing list that topped. Soul Release can go crazy. I think we might see more DD Crow than Soul Release just because of Norlaris Fear, but I think DD Crow's a little underpowered in general. I think we might see some Instant Fusion. I think we might see Instant Fusion kind of break into a couple of different decks. Whether it's zombies or monarchs or hero decks or whatever. I think we might see some more Instant Fusion tomorrow. Could be wrong though. Maybe. I think the for sure ones are like... These are for sure what we're going to see. These four up here. We're going to see these four cards for sure. Because these cards are like getting better and better. I think Thunder King is another like really underrated card right now. And so is Royal Decree. As well as Trapstun by proxy. DD Warrior Lady. Maybe. If someone's playing fairies, yes. But I think we will for sure see these four. Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer, maybe. Needle Ceiling, maybe. A lot of maybes, man. I am so unsure. Last year I was so sure. Last year I was like, yeah, fairies is winning it. No question. I had done a lot of talking to ProStorm. I had done a lot of testing with ProStorm. I knew basically like that no one else was putting in the level of prep that he was. This year it's kind of like, I don't know what everyone's doing. I'm like pretty surprised. Oh, Legacy for sure. This was the tech that was developed last year. For sure we're going to see Legacy. In fact, we're going to see Legacy stonks go to the moon. Legacy of Yatagarasu, guess how much that shit is right now? Hold up, I'll pull it up. This card is very expensive right now. It's like, it's really expensive right now. Hold up, I'm going to pull it up. 1 second. Yugi Boomer says, what makes Big Fish bad? Well, it's a 5-card combo, and you have to draw the big fish to do it. That's stopped at like 6 different points. Legacy of Yatagarasu. Yatagarasu? It's like $2 common. The super rares, like if you want a super rare one, they're like $5. This card is stonks, dude. This card is fucking stonks right now. Lightly played, $3. Last one, pick that shit up. That card is stonks. Look at the secret rare. The secret rare is like $30. Near min is $46. What makes the big fish bad? It's just bad. I think it's like $2 damaged. Yeah. Legacy is stonks. I think that's like a for sure. I think it's going to be less than these three, but we'll see more Legacy than we will see Upstart. Like, we might not even see Upstart. Kansor says you're buying up all the Jar of Greeds. Legacy of Yatagrasu is strictly better. So, people will always want the strictly better card. Don't buy a Jar of Greed, because people won't ever want to buy it or play it. You hope to see Royal Decree tomorrow? I hope to see Royal Decree tomorrow too. I think this card is exciting, and it only means that you're doing exciting shit. Like, it's just high octane. You know, this is a fuck it, I have no defense, you have no defense moment. Totagon says it's the budget alternative. So's yo mama. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. No, I'm just playing. Totagon. I love you. Your mother's a very nice woman. I love you, Totagon. I love you so much, bro. Capital D colon. Capital D colon. Oh no. I'm just playing. I think we'll probably see some amount of Thunder King. I hope we see Royal Decree tomorrow. VJ Redline says, what relevant spirit monsters? Dark Dust Spirit, Yamada Dragon. Also, creature swap Asura Priest. They don't know you're not playing it. So even if they're not playing spirit monsters, it conceals information about your deck. Imperial Iron Wall, your second favorite or your favorite floodgate. Iron Wall. Will this card make waves tomorrow? Maybe. Maybe it will. I think these four cards we will for sure see. I think we should see some amount of Royal Decree. I think Royal Decree is very, very good right now. Asura Priest is legal. Where can you check all the legal cards? EdisonFormat.com. Or you can actually go to Dueling Book. And they have, now you can change the ban list to, if you go to the bottom corner there, you can select March 2010 like this. And I can just search all monster cards by release date. Boom. Well, this is stupid because I'm going to search through all of them. Maybe not by release date, but give me like alphabetical. There we go. You can see this means it wasn't legal or isn't legal in the format. You can see here. Abyss Soldier is legal. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's how you can see all the legal cards. I usually sort by release date because it's like a little bit easier. But whatever, you get the idea. Yeah, also Asura Priest was printed in like 2004. So yes, of course it was legal. Or 2003 even. Exiled Force? I don't think we'll see Exiled Force, but that would be interesting. If we saw a deck that played Exiled Force, it would be... I don't think I've seen Exiled Force really do too much in this format, but... Is the Roid fusion that requires 5 Roids illegal? I don't... Which one is that? This one requires 4. But it's not the 5 one. The 5 one's not legal. No. It's not legal, Totagon. Morphing Jar will make an appearance. It might. I feel like a lot of good players kind of avoid Morphing Jar like the plague. Just because they're scared of double-edged swords, and for good reason. Like, you very rarely want to give your opponent advantages. Even if they're minor ones. Exile Force is smashing ground that takes your normal summon. Exactly. And it's, like, kind of worse. I can sort by Edison cards. How? Oh, more options. There we go. There it is, yeah. Edison format cards. Yeah, you could just do that, too. I forgot you could do that. Yeah. Yeah. Soul Taker you could see played. Maybe. I feel like Soul Taker's kind of bad. I could be wrong. Could be wrong. What's that Samurai card? This card. This card might see play. This card might see play. This card recently got top 4 at National. No, not Nationals. At an Ultimate Time Wizard event. And it would be an RBET first for this card. Let me pull up the list that had it. Have you guys seen this card before? I'll pull up the list that had it, so you guys can get an idea of how it was used. Okay, let me see if I can find that list for you guys. Give me 1 second. It's in this bitch somewhere. It was pretty recent. Pretty recent top. Here it is. So this is a list that was created by Edison Club Mike. His name is Mike, and he's part of Edison Club, so shout out Edison Club. This was his list, and you'll notice in the sideboard he has Sasuke Samurai number 2, and the reason he was playing this card is it's a Rota. You can Rota for Cold Wave, and so you can go Rota for this card, normal it, pay 800, and then JD Christia fucking pop the fuck off, basically. Really cool card. I think this card is fucking awesome. If it didn't cost 800 life points, like if it cost like a little bit less, I think it would see a lot more play. Reinforced Truth is so slept on. It facilitates the Gemini deck, but I don't think it facilitates much else very well. I was trying to play it in zombies, but just the fact that you have to set it makes it so slow. Warrior for Diva Hero. Yeah, but this card's pretty bad in Diva Hero because it takes your normal summon and then it locks you out from playing Miracle afterwards, which is kind of the point of Diva Hero. But I could see it in like a Lightsworn deck, kind of kicking ass. Turning your Rhoda into a Cold Wave is genuinely really smart decision from them to play that. That's really smart. What else? What else do we expect to see tomorrow? Consecrated. The anti-Blackwing tech. Probably expect to see that guy. Snowman Eater. I expect to see a lot of Snowman Eater. Way to answer those monsters. It is a 1-for-1 target, but it's more importantly, I think, a Rota target. What's up, Jafaro? Who's hyped for tomorrow? I think all of us. I'm really excited. I'm like kind of going in blind. I'm not guessing what. I'm not looking at what is in anyone's deck list, so I'm just gonna be like really surprised as we like move forward into the bracket. DD Warrior Lady. This card is so fucking good. I feel like if we don't see this card tomorrow, someone messed up somewhere. This card is just so fucking good. It is so fucking stupid good. Macrocosmos? We haven't seen this in a while. This did top 16 at Karlsruhe, but that's about it. It hasn't really made it into the top 8 of an RBET yet. Mark of the Rose. We talked about Mark of the Rose decks a little bit earlier. Mark of the Rose just needs a dedicated deck. I feel like a lot of these cards can be put into a lot of different decks, and that's what makes them tech cards. Whereas like Mark of the Rose, you can only really put it into one type of deck. If that makes sense. Can we get Morbin Time tomorrow? Oh, we can get Morbin Time right now. Mobius is a pretty good tech card. I don't know if we'll see it, but he's like just a second Heavy Storm for some decks. Burden of the Mighty. I don't think we'll see that card. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to go out on a limb. I don't think we'll see Burden of the Mighty. Enemy Controller is your favorite tech, but you don't know if it'll actually see play. It did top in a Blackwing list and a Vite Turbo list. But yeah, I also don't know if it'll see that much play. It is a very good card. Yeah, I don't know if we'll see it outside of like the dedicated Frog decks. Soul Exchange is an interesting tech card, yes. This card is pretty interesting. It's particularly good with Mobius. If your deck has like a 3 Caius already and you're like siding Mobius, Soul Exchange is not a bad pick. Imperial Iron Wall, yeah, we mentioned that earlier. I just don't think there's a single good deck that can actually side that card effectively. Orb, we got the orb right there, baby. We got the orb right there. Vanity's Fiend, I think we'll see more Dyna than Vanity's Fiend. I think Dyna has kind of overtaken that role. Realistically. Enemy Controller, Soul Exchange, probably not going to see Enemy Controller. I don't know how much DD Warrior Lady we'll see outside of like dedicated decks like Fairies or Dragons or Hero Beat. Like I don't think we'll see this like outside of certain decks. Can't Blackwings run Imperial Iron Wall? Yeah, I mean, yes and no. Like if you look at a Blackwing list, let's go to a Blackwing list real quick. It shuts off Bottomless. It shuts off Deep Prison if they play it. Obviously, if you are playing Imperial Iron Wall, you're probably just not going to play Bottomless and Deep Prison. But you have to make the assumption that Imperial Iron Wall is better than one of those cards. And it also shuts off Dark Arm Dragon. So you could technically play it in Blackwings. You could make a build where it could play it. I just don't know if it's worth it. Maybe it is. I don't fucking know. Iron Wall and Machines, you could see that, yeah. You could see Iron Wall in a couple strats. I just don't know if we will. I think it's just too much of a build around, and people don't feel like doing that. For good reason. I think it's pretty inconsistent to have a build around around a card that has diminishing returns when you draw multiples. An Imperial Iron Wall is definitely one of those cards that like is bad in multiples. It is just a bad card in multiples. Where were we? Predictions. It also turns off Allure. Yeah, it does. Unless you chain it to Allure, but then you have to reveal your hand, which is sometimes a worse drawback than having to banish a monster. Electric Virus. I don't think people will respect dragons. I don't think they will. I don't think people were respected enough to bring Electric Virus. Codaris. We see Codaris everywhere, Totagon. He is always with us. Peace be with you, brother and Codaris. I think this is a pretty good assessment of like some of the tech cards we'll see tomorrow. But this is kind of like the basic bitch tech cards. I'm not getting too deep with it right now. I'm not getting too sauced with it. I don't think a lot of people like listen to my recommendations, which is crazy. Because sometimes I be cooking, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had Breaker and I had Compulsory in the Fairy deck, and I told ProStorm about that tech last year, and I also told him about the Mind Control plus Cyber Valley tech. He played both of them, and he won the tournament. I'd be like, sometimes I'll just be cooking with tech. Times2 says Needle Sealing. Maybe. It's a bit narrow, but it's incredibly powerful if it resolves. Brett says Decree plus Book Trust. Maybe. I think it's of the most likely tech cards we are to see. I think the top 5 here are pretty much guarantees. I think everything else on this list is like a maybe. The fusion that is instant. We got that boy down there. Knock. Probably not. Every time you see me play Breaker and Fairies, it looks unfair because it is. It's very good. But I have like this, like stigma where like people like, well, this isn't just with me, but this is with like card games in general where people want to be right so bad they'll look for reasons why people are wrong. And I'm guilty of this as well. So, like, when I am right about certain things, or when I am like, oh, this tech is actually kind of good, it's actually kind of heat, people will look for reasons why I'm wrong, even though I'm not, or they will ignore me, even though I'm not. And it's the same for everyone. Like you guys all have that homie who's like, you're like, oh, you should try and play this in your deck, and he just wants to be right about his build more than he wants to actually play a good build. So he, like, won't listen to your advice, or he won't try different things. There are very few people who are like truly open-minded when it comes to deck building. but a lot of them are in this tournament, so that's why I'm so fucking excited. But yeah, I'm also guilty of it. I mean, everyone's guilty of it to some degree. Like, you want to play the cards you want to play, and like, at the end of the day, that's going to trump everything else. Even logic in a lot of cases. Someone has to bring this Hidden Village Spellcasters deck. That would be really cool. I think it would be really cool, like, those who fail to see what Coderis is showing is unworthy of their time. I agree. It doesn't even, you're saying this doesn't even make sense, and I agree with it because you said the word Coderis. Hidden Village Spellcasters deck. That would be kind of cool. What is it? Secret Village? Oh, it's Secret Village. Secret Village. This guy. Jinzo would be lovely. I would love to see some Jinzo OTK tomorrow, but I think people are sleeping on that deck. They're sleeping on it because, like, the last time I heard people talking about it in, like, the general chats, they were like, oh, I don't think it's real. But, like, I can guarantee you those people have not played that deck at, like, a competitive level to understand that it's actually very fucking real. Is ProStorm on a mountain for this year's RBT Rulers? No, after last year's RBT Rulers, he ascended. He achieved Nirvana. It was kind of like his enlightening to... he became the purest form of energy after last year's RBT Rulers. And he's moved on to, like, immortal things. Usually when someone wins a tournament of that caliber with such a base deck, it doesn't... You can never go back to regular Yu-Gi-Oh! After that. I don't know if he's playing tomorrow, is basically what I'm getting at. Welcome to church, Ryanide. Secret Village could be a hidden success for tomorrow. Dark Magician, Secret Village. So someone asked me earlier to see a Gravekeeper deck list. I'll show you one. This is not necessarily a good Gravekeeper deck list, but it is a Gravekeeper deck list. I don't think this is necessarily the best list. I think the list I would personally play would look something more like... probably have this guy. I think this card is very good. I'd probably only play one of these. Probably would only play one of these if I played him at all. I'd probably main one Cyber Dragon, side one Cyber Dragon. I don't know about Double Fiendish. I would probably play Torrential as well as Sangan and Allure. And I would play maybe one less Book of Moon. My side deck would definitely have, like... What am I looking at here? Get the Torrential out of the side. Put the Cyber Dragon on the side. This doesn't look 100% accurate, but this looks closer to what I would play. I would play more ways to defend Necro Valley. I know, fucking... This is gonna fuck me up. Swagger was playing Transmigration Prophecy. And the reason he was playing it is because it helps you get rid of Treeborn Frog, which is annoying. And then it also shuffles back your Necro Valley in the matchups where you need to shuffle back the Necro Valleys. Outback Yu-Gi-Oh! Says, do you have a rough idea yet of how many rounds of Swiss a player will have to win before converting it to top cut? Well, it's double elimination, so there's no Swiss to begin with. And it'll just be play until the double elimination bracket is over. I think you'll need to go 7 or 8-0 to win the tournament. If you lose early, you're going to have to win a significant amount more. Let's see if more people have gotten signed up. 25 people, yeah. So more people are trickling in. People who have their invites. Ghost Rider has since signed up. We have Ghost Rider in the building. I'm very, very, very fucking excited Ghost Rider has entered. I love watching him play. He might be one of my favorite players to watch play. Definitely check him out on YouTube. What's up, SoCal Retro Yugs? How you doing tonight, bro? Everyone check out SoCal Retro Yugs as well. I'm so excited. Yeah, maybe play like one guard. And like something else here. I don't know. I would play something like this. Maybe no Spear Soldier. Maybe Spear Soldier. Maybe no Spear Soldier. So it's like kind of a general start. VJ Redline says, is this a paper tournament? It will take place on Dueling Book. So we will have all of the games taking place on Dueling Book. That way players from all around the world can, who have qualified, can enter. Will Gage be on comms? He's kind of doing his own thing. I think he's restreaming it. The tournament will absolutely be streamed. If a tournament isn't streamed, in my opinion, it didn't happen. Is this monster count high for Royal Tribute? No, not necessarily. Also, I play Royal Tribute a little bit differently than other people do. I kind of wait on it. I usually try to get all my monsters in play if I have monsters. Plus, you have triple steel. You have triple Gravekeeper steel, so if you discard a Gravekeeper, it's whatever. And if you think about it, this card's not a monster. So this is only a 12 monster deck. Because Commandant's not a monster. You can turn it into a spell card. Streamed on Twitch or YouTube? It'll be streamed on this exact channel. You'll be traveling tomorrow, but you want to watch, so just make sure you're tuned into this YouTube channel. It'll be streamed here. Exactly how it is live right now. Knight's End Sorcerer would be sick to see tomorrow. And maybe some tomato deck, maybe. That could be really sick. Yeah, that could be sick. I'm not sure what else I would play in this. I might not main the Crush Shoot, but maybe Upstart or something. I'm not really sure about this either, but maybe. Maybe you just want to see your starter cards. This type of deck is I feel like you have to play it a lot to get it right. People are sleeping on Night Ends. That card is nuts. It is kind of a one-shot Kaiku, which is pretty strong, but I don't know if sleeping on is the right word. Totagauntlet. We got to do a Totagauntlet again. I'm thinking about it. We got to do that soon, someday soon. That would be hype as fuck. Where was I going with this? Damage Condenser is the truth. What is that card? Damage Condenser. What? When you take battle damage, discard one card. Special summon one monster from your deck with attack less than or equal to the monster. Oh yeah, Allure. Adam N makes a good point. Yeah, I'd play Allure. Damage Condenser is interesting. In this deck, though? Anyway, yeah, I would play Allure. That's a great point, Adam N. Yes. What were we talking about? We were talking about something. We were supposed to do it Monday, but I left you for an 8-man. To be fair, the 8-man didn't finish because DB was so buggy, and I didn't want to play 5 matches on buggy DB. It was so bad on Monday. I literally quit out of the 8-man halfway through. No, just in general. Oh, in general, yeah, it's a cool card for sure. Will I be playing as well? No, I will not be playing. I'll be commentating. I'm the commentator, not the player. Oh, we were gonna remote duel it. I couldn't get my remote duel setup working right. Anyway, there was something I was gonna say. I lost my train of thought. I can't remember. Let me go check something. I needed to check something. Someone asked if they had an invite because they played in RBCT. But I think, wasn't RBCT last year? Hold up. Let me double check this. RBET. Was RBCT this year? Really big charity tournament. Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament for charity. Was that the first qualifying event for this year? Did I just forget that entirely? No, it wasn't, right? Was it? It was definitely last year, but was it this season? What's the date on this shit? 11 months ago? I think this was the first qualifying event of this season, wasn't it? This was, right? Was this the first qualifying? Whatever. I'm gonna go back and watch this when I'm off stream. I'll think about it later. I'll figure it out later. I'm pretty sure it was. I'm pretty sure it was the first qualifying event for this season. So yeah, we'll just run it like that. We'll just run it. Bucket. They would have roles in Discord, wouldn't they? Unless this was before you made the Discord. I think this was after I made the Discord, because if it was after RBET Rulers last year, which it looks like it was after it. So that means it would have qualified them for this season. So yes, RBCT should also be qualified. I'm pretty sure I gave them all roles, but maybe I missed one. I make mistakes. I'm human, like you have to account for so many players or whatever else. I'm pretty sure, right? I'm pretty sure. Let me make sure. I think it was ×2 versus Oh, I need to give ×2. Yeah, I gave them the wrong role. Okay, I gave ×2 the role now too. There was a couple other people I have to give the role to. Yo, ×2, if you're still in here, you can now sign up. You had the wrong role. There was a mix-up where we had 2 different roles for like people who had topped RBET, and I needed to consolidate all of them. And that's what it was. I forgot to consolidate them for people who topped. I had a separate role for it, but the role changed, but it's not a big deal. Rite of Spirit and Caius. Yeah, those could be played in a deck like this. I don't think Fiendish Chain is like all that good or anything. Adam N says GK has an issue seeing too many Necro. Maybe, yeah. Maybe it does, but I think drawing even 3 Necro is fine because you need it in play to beat most of the best decks. So they out it once, they can't out it again, and then you probably just win, even if you have a dead one in your hand. I think one of the bigger issues is like the turn they out it, they do big things. You think you could legit main deck Rug in GK? I think so too. I think you could main deck Rug in a lot of different decks. You forgot Fiendish is legal. It's because it's not very good. Most people don't play it. You could play it in a deck like this, but it's questionable. I think a bigger issue for GKs is not seeing enough just hard removal. Maybe 2 Legacy over 1 Necro. No, I don't think I would ever cut a Necro Valley. I think that is just wrong, because if it's much worse that you don't see Necro Valley than you see too many, in my opinion. If you don't see Necro Valley, this deck is very fucking bad. Like, this deck is very, very bad if you don't see Necro Valley, or if your opponent just outs 2 of them. I think you absolutely need to play the full 3 Necro Valley if you're playing Gravekeepers. I've played 2 before in the past and sided the 3rd, but it was in a very different list that wasn't playing Royal Tribute. If you're not playing Royal Tribute, then you need to be playing like a different style of list where it's like Mystic Tomato. Like you would need to reconfigure the whole list to play a 2 Necro Valley list, which you can do. I've done it in the past, but I don't know if it's in this type of Royal Tribute list. You gotta play the Royal Tribute. Someone says gotta play the Transmigration in the side. I don't think you have to play it, but it is decent. It is decent. You could replace one of these cards with Transmigration Prophecy. What were we talking about before this though? Oh, the tech cards for tomorrow and the predictions for tomorrow. Let's lock this up. It's about midnight here. I gotta be up in 8 hours in order to get ready for tomorrow. Let's get our last minute predictions in. Like I said, I expect Dragons or Gravekeepers to win. I wouldn't be surprised if Fish, Amaryllis, or Norlaris or Chamberlain won. I don't think anyone will play Chamberlain tomorrow. I would also be not super surprised to see. I'd be surprised to see Vayu win, but I wouldn't be surprised to see. I wouldn't be surprised to see Fairy, Machina, or Blackwings win either. I think these are like safe picks. But my real picks is like, I think Dragons is my real pick. I'm gonna lock that as my number one prediction. Totagon says, I thought we were streaming for 24 hours. Please go to bed. Please go to bed. Yeah, Christia deck, Machina deck, and Blackwing is my safe pick for like consistent top. And then I think Dragons is taking the whole thing. Anyway, guys, it's been fun. I got a lot of stuff I got to do tonight to make sure we are ready for tomorrow. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you want more action, I just uploaded a quick draw video a couple hours ago, so go check that out. Leave a like on that. Subscribe during that video too. If you have already subscribed, log into your other account and subscribe there as well. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, go check out the video I just posted, and I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. Have a good night, and thank you for another amazing season.